Welcome to the 10-Minute Mind Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Janet Cagle, certified life coach, weight loss coach, and lover of all things related to upleveling my life and yours. My goal is to help you get one step closer to your goal, whatever it is. My goal is not to keep you wrapped up in self-help all day, just 10 minutes. And who doesn't have 10 minutes, right? Hey friends, welcome back. This is the week of luck, as in the kind that we associate with St. Patrick's Day. And this is the time of year that I start having a lot of thoughts about luck and the term we often hear and use, and that is feeling lucky. First, let's do an update. It's spring. The clock has been moved forward. That time change does require a bit of time to adjust. I don't mind saying that I wish we would just stop doing that. It messes with everyone's sleep patterns for weeks. That could be why I've been feeling a little off, but I've also tried unsuccessfully, I might add, to reintroduce some foods, and I have been dealing with some flares as a result. And what's so crazy is now that I know what it is, I know that I can just back off of the reintro, and I know the flares will subside in a few days, and sure enough, that's what happens. It doesn't take long, and I am back in my stride. The mind work that I do around this is just that. This is temporary. This will pass. You know what to do. I tell myself to listen to my body. It wants to heal. It's doing the best it can. And as for Dutch, he has been blowing my mind with his strength and his progress in overcoming EPM that we have actually done a couple of shows. We broke 70% at the last show, and even though it was cold and pouring down rain and no warm-up, once again, he showed me that he is all heart. I have big goals for us this year, so who knows? We might just get lucky. So let me ask you, are you feeling lucky, or are we feeling a little down on our luck? Check in with yourself and see what comes up for you. When you talk about the things going on in your life, really notice the words that you use. What are the words and phrases and the tone? Be really curious about the tone of your life as you live it and you describe it to others. As the editor-in-chief of your life, you get to determine all of that. Creating a life by design requires that you make edits of the words and the tone and the phrases that don't align with how you want to experience your life. And now that I am layering on a healthier life by design, I am constantly reevaluating how I talk about what is going on and what I'm doing, the words I use, the tone of my life. And every now and then, just like everyone else, I start to feel what I would call melancholy. And I start thinking about how fortunate and blessed Steve and I are. And some would even look at us and say that we are lucky. And over the years, I have noticed that when we have discussions about things that are going on, we never talk about our circumstances in terms of misfortune or bad luck, even when unfortunate things happen, like injury or illness, or this time of year, taxes. Our sentences start out with, "We are so lucky," or "Lucky for us. Can you believe our luck?" That is exactly how we think and talk. So you can imagine the tone that that sets for our lives. I know that sometimes it's hard to feel lucky, especially with so much going on. And so I thought it would be fun to talk about how you can create your luck and your good fortune. So let me kick it off by saying a quote by me. Luck does not discriminate. Luck is the residual of intentional thinking, aligned action, and meticulous mind management. Janet Cagle. This is episode number 126 and 4 ways to create more luck. Luck is always and always has been available to you, my friend, and here is how. Number 1, intentional and purposeful thinking. And think about all of the episodes that we did last year. It was all about being very intentional and purposeful with your life. Lucky people think intentional thoughts. How many of you catch yourself thinking, "I just can't get a break," or "things like that always happen to me," or "just when I think I'm getting ahead," or "it figures, that's just my luck"? Listen, we are human. Even my brain throws in those thoughts, but creating and living a life by design requires that we catch ourselves and interrupt that thought model so that we can do a thought edit. Because think about how those thoughts make you feel. Imagine what kind of action you would be fueled to take. Most likely, no action. These are the kinds of thoughts that have us throwing in the towel and going back to bed with a box of ding-dongs, right? Now, for sure, It's not that bad things don't happen to lucky people, but lucky people have a distinct way of looking at the circumstances so that they see all of their good fortune right in the midst of it all. Lately, I've been thinking how lucky I am for the autoimmune that I have, and that Hashimoto's is the best autoimmune condition if you have to have one. I feel lucky that my insurance covers my functional medicine doctor. I am fortunate that my husband supports all of the changes that I have made in the home and in our eating habits. I am blessed with so much, even in this condition. I hope that doesn't sound like toxic positivity or putting lipstick on a pig, because the opposite is true. There are so many with an autoimmune that are so much less fortunate than me. The thoughts that you think create the energy in which you move through your life. The energy in which you move through your life is what attracts your life to you. The energy of, I can't catch a break, or even if it weren't for bad luck, is the story that you will take into your future. And that's what you will create more of. Being lucky does not mean that you are exempt from the 50-50 of life, but you face it all with the energy of how you want to experience your life, even the unfortunate part. Number 2, take action. Lucky people make things happen. They are not sitting on the couch hoping for their life to somehow become extraordinary. They are actionators. And I don't even know if that's a word, but it should be. They aren't waiting to be in the mood. They decide to just do it, and they get results. That's it. They don't tell themselves a story that they aren't motivated, so they must wait on motivation. They don't entertain the notion that they lack discipline, and they don't buy into the story that they can't focus. They decide, they do, and they get. Now, that's not to say that lucky people don't fail a lot. Lucky people fail all the time. I have said it at least 1,000 times that I am so lucky to have Dutch as my dressage partner, but here's the deal. He's not a perfect horse, and I'm not a perfect rider. In order to perfect our elements, we must be willing to be bad first and then work on getting better. I bet I have asked for thousands of counter canners, and for the most part, they are dreadful, but occasionally we get a good one. In the grand scheme of things, we will always tip the scale on the fail side of our attempting our elements and then actually successfully executing an element. Lucky people are not afraid to fail hundreds of times in the process of creating their outcomes. It is the luckiest of all who are also the hardest working and the most diligent people you will ever know. There's a direct correlation between the harder you work, the luckier you get. Number 3. Be curious. Lucky people are curious about the how, but not emotionally attached to the how. Lucky people don't have to know the how before they take action. They just know the what. They know what they want, and they stay focused on that. Here's what's so fascinating about how our brains work. As soon as we commit to something, our brain starts showing us all the possibilities and opportunities. If we are willing to stay open to all of them, we will figure it out. In the beginning, all we have is our instinct, and we can use that to determine which path might be the right way. A lucky person isn't sidelined if that path doesn't work out. They just look for the next opportunity and take that path. When we get emotionally tied to how it's all going to unfold, we miss out on the things the universe is available to teach us on the journey. All right, number 4, be flexible. Lucky people are flexible, and they are resilient. I think of Thomas Edison and the famous quote, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Can you imagine if he was not flexible in changing his approach? That really is the epitome of a lucky person, the resilience and flexibility, the not getting emotionally attached to how. For sure, he didn't know how until he did know how. He didn't sit on the couch waiting to be inspired or motivated. He took action. He didn't let failure define him. He learned each time. So many times when we face an obstacle, we look at it as a sign we have taken the wrong turn or that we shouldn't be pursuing that goal. Trust me, my brain throws me those thoughts too. But they are just for your consideration, and there are several other thoughts available to you that are much more productive and creative. An obstacle is an opportunity to learn about a new approach. It's an opportunity to stretch yourself in an area that may otherwise you wouldn't. For sure, an obstacle does not mean you aren't lucky. If you've been feeling a little down on your luck, give this episode a few listens and implement some of these ideas and see if your luck doesn't start to change. All right, my friend, that is what I have for you. And now, go have the best day ever. That's a wrap. I hope that you were able to experience a mind shift of your own today. Listen, if you love this podcast, you should totally check out my Life by Design 6-week boot camp. It's a work at your own pace workshop and something that you can do over and over and over again to uplevel your results and get ready for a transformation at the speed of life.